Okay. All right. So Daniel chapter 10 this morning. This is what is this? February the 8th. Yeah, February the 8th, 2022. So Daniel chapter 10 this morning. I'm just gonna I guess just a little encouragement this morning before before I do the prayer and all. So just a little encouragement. So Daniel chapter 10, I really wish I, could just, the teacher inside of me is constantly always showing up. I really don't know how to handle that thing. I really don't. I don't know how to handle it. I really wish I could get a handle on it, and cause it just wants to show up. I could be in the grocery store and Dad show up. I don't care where I am. I could be in the part house and Dad shows up. It's just the teacher in me, so it's kind of hard for me to expound on just like one text of scripture or one thought or something, because I like for you to understand the whole context, because when scriptures are written, there's a whole concept that comes with it. But I want to, do my best today. I really would like to give y'all the, just to exegete Daniel chapter 10. But, for the sake of time, I'm going to try to just give us, just love on this just a little bit this morning for us to give us a thought, and just to provoke your thought, your thinking this morning. But in Daniel 10, this is the text where the prince of Persia withstood Daniel regarding his prayers when he prayed, and this is where the 21-day fast comes about. So this is what Daniel chapter 10 is. So if you ever wanted to know about the Daniel's fast, or however, Daniel chapter 10 is where it comes from, and it'll give you, details and insight of what that is. So, but I want to grab a portion out of this morning just to encourage. And let's see, let me try to just grab verse 12, if you would. Daniel chapter 10 and verse 12. Let me try to grab that. So I'm going to say that I'm going to just hit at this morning, and then do a closing prayer for us. But Daniel chapter 10 and verse 12 here, this is what it says. It says, Then said he unto me, Fear not, Daniel, for from the first day that thou didst set thine heart to understand. I need y'all to please hear that. I'm serious. I'm a teacher by nature. I'm sorry. I'm not your hooper and your hollerer. I'm sorry. I've been criticized for not being a hooper and a hollerer, but I guarantee you this. You set your butt under me and watch you learn something. I can guarantee you that. You gonna develop. You gonna learn. You gonna learn. You gonna have so much that they ain't gonna be able to trick you, because you gonna learn. So I'm not your hooper, your hollerer. I make no apologies for it. But listen, check this out. You got to watch these words and catch what this thing is saying. Then said he unto me, Fear not, Daniel. Fear not, for from the first day that thou didst set thine heart to understand. I'm going to stop right there. We're going to do the whole text, but I need y'all to catch that part. Sometimes you have to take it little bit by little bit in order to cause your mind to grasp of what it is saying. You can't just be rushing through things. I try to teach y'all, please don't read your words so fast. What are you doing? Stop, slow down so you can grab what it is saying. First of all, you got to catch what the thought that is coming out in this. He tells him, he says, Fear not. So in other words, Daniel was in a place of fear. He had gotten in a place of fear because it seems as though his prayers were not being answered. He had been praying about this thing. Father, I love you this morning. He had been praying about this thing, but it seemed as though his prayers were not being answered. So when it seems as though prayers are not being answered, it can throw you into a place of, suspend you into a place of fear. As if, is this going to ever happen? I need to catch a couple people this morning that's going to hear me. Just let me get up in your heart this morning, get in your ear gates and you hear me this morning, hear what the Lord is using me to say, because sometimes things will seem as though you're not getting an answer. It's not, wait a minute, I done talked to God about this, and that's always going to be the thought that people say. Have you prayed about it? That's the first thing. Have you prayed about it? Yes, I prayed about it. I sure have. I prayed about it, but it seems as though nothing is happening. It seems as though, I don't even know if God heard me. People will start saying things like, God don't listen to me. God don't hear me. You know what I'm saying? And then you start thinking about all the stuff that you did you didn't have any business doing. Then condemnation starts kicking your butt. You be like, man, he don't hear me because, see, I remember I took that piece of bubble gum. You know what I'm saying? I stole that piece of bubble gum when I was in kindergarten. And God don't hear me. And I just don't know what I did. I told a lie and this and that and all. I've been hiding this secret in my heart for so many years what I did. This person was supposed to be my best friend, and I backdoored her, so I slept with her boyfriend, and all this kind of stuff. God don't hear me, so all of this kind of stuff starts coming through the mind, and you literally start seeing everything that you did wrong. You start seeing every encounter, every situation. Father, I bless you this morning because I honor you, dude. You start seeing every situation that you've ever made a mistake, and when you thought you made a mistake, all of that stuff starts coming up to the head. And so Daniel is in a situation as where I've asked you concerning something, and what I've asked you is something that really needs to be taken care of. Listen, man, I didn't ask you for a BMW. That's not really something that I have to have, but I asked you for something that I really, really have to have, something that is needed, something that the earth could really use. So I've asked you for that. Have you ever asked God to save someone, to deliver someone, and it seems as though they got worse? You know what I'm saying? It just seems as though it was not going to happen. Father, I honor you this morning, man. Have you ever just asked him these? And it seems as though, look, it's not, oh God, they done got worse. What? They doing worse than what? Jesus Christ, look at them going further backwards. You've been asking God, and it just seems as though it's not happening, and you start looking and, oh God, I must not have been saying something right. I couldn't have been praying right. Lord, God, what have I done wrong? Jesus, listen, was it because I didn't give like I should have? What you know what I'm saying? What is it that could be causing this to not happen? So Daniel finds himself in a place, and then the angel appears to Daniel, and this is what he says to him. He says to him, fear not. Fear not. Now, that fear being translated there is a context of not necessarily saying, in the Hebrew, it's not necessarily meaning be scared not, although there was an element of scarce in the fact of, is this going to ever happen? But this fear not means that, hey, listen, don't allow yourself to get in a place of doubt. Don't allow yourself to get in a place of feeling, unworthy for something to happen. Don't get yourself there, Daniel. Don't even think. Listen, it means don't change your mind about God. The Holy Spirit just told me to tell y'all that. It's translated, don't change your mind. Delphine, good God. Don't change your mind about God. Lord, help me this morning. Now I got free just then. I heard God just as clear as day. It literally means don't change your mind. That's why I love him, because the dude will rap to me. I love him. Don't change your mind about God is what the angel was saying. You came to God about the situation, so you believe that God would do it. So listen, don't you change your mind. God, help me this morning. Don't you change your mind about God. Lord, help me. Don't change your mind about God, people. Do y'all hear what I'm saying to you this morning? Don't change your mind. Lord, help me. Don't change your mind about God. Good God Almighty. If you believe that God will deliver them, keep believing that God will deliver them. If you believe that God will fix it, keep believing that God will fix it. Good God. It reminds me of a real life situation that took place. I was listening to a pastor that I listened to. He's an awesome teacher, and I love to listen to him because he literally teaches me. He causes my brain to stimulates my brain and causes me to literally take and adapt to things that God wants to place inside of my life. He's not hollering and all this kind of stuff, but God has really, really blessed his life and all. And so he was telling about a situation concerning his real life, his grandfather. His grandfather worked with a guy, and the guy was a believer. His grandfather wasn't a believer. So the guy was praying for his grandfather, and kept hitting at his grandfather about God. And so his grandfather told the guy, said, I tell you what, I'll let you tell me about this Jesus, because I'm not aware of him, but I'll let you tell me about this Jesus when we get off of work. Can we talk about it? And he was like, yeah, I invite you over to my house. And so he goes over to the guy's house, the grandfather, but the dad, his son, his oldest son, which could drive at the time, his oldest son asked him, said, can I go? Dad said, I'll drive you over there. He was like, he told his son, yeah, I'll let you go, but you're going to have to stay, you can't come inside the house. You're going to have to stay outside. Me and the guy are going to talk about some things. Why he didn't want his son to hear about God could have been because he didn't know about God, but he told his son to stay outside. Well, at that time, stand outside, they didn't have, they had doors where they kept their doors open and stuff. So the son is sitting on the porch, and which was this guy that was telling this dad. He's sitting on the porch. The guy is in the house witnessing to his granddad, and so he's telling he's telling his dad, which was this pastor's granddaddy. He's talking to him about God, right? And so after he gets through talking to him, he was like, "When would you like to accept Jesus as your Lord?" He was like, "No." Said he was very blunt about it. No, I mean, it sounds good what you're saying, but no. But check this out. His son was on the porch listening with tears coming down his face and was accepting God. He was accepting God. So the man was focused on the dude he was in the house with, not knowing that God was touching the guy out on the young boy, the 16, 17-year-old kid that was out on the porch, and he recites the prayer of salvation from out on the porch. And so God gets into his life. So it was like a literal setup. And then after years would pass, the granddad finally does accept Jesus as Lord. So he goes to the man, the grandson finds the man and says, I wanted to tell you that you remember praying for my granddaddy. The man showed him in his Bible, his granddaddy's name in the Bible, and said, I have prayed for your granddaddy for years. Said, I make sure that I do this, and I long to see the day that I can put a check by his name to say, God did it. It happened. He said, well, sir, you can put the check because my granddad this made me want to cry, has received the Lord now. So you can put the check there. And so the thing of it is, this man did not stop. This man did not allow fear. He kept believing God. He did not stop. He kept believing God. Don't change what you believe about God. Don't you stop believing. If you originally believed that God could, then know that God can and he will. Don't you stop believing. It doesn't matter what it looked like, how hard it may get, how tough it may get, some decisions that have to be made. Don't stop believing, because that is the opportunity that gives God chance to move. So the angel says to Daniel, let's go Daniel 10 and verse 12 again. The angel says to Daniel, he says, fear not, Daniel, from the first day, God heard you, that thou didst set thine heart to understand. Now, setting thy heart to understand literally means that I set myself to believe and to be in agreement that this is something that God would do. That's what that means. I literally set my heart to believe and to know that this is something that God, Father, I bless you this morning, that God would do. He says, you set your heart to believe, thine heart to understand, and to chasten. Listen, to chasten now. To chasten thyself means to discipline thyself. So that means that I literally got to discipline myself when I pray about something. I cannot be all over the place with it. I can't say Monday I believe and then Tuesday I don't believe. I've got to chasten myself, which means to bring myself to order as to where I don't move. I got to stay right there on on what it is. Father, I love you. That I got to stay right there on what it is that I have talked to God about and not move. You cannot sway. I don't care how dark it gets. I don't care how ugly it gets. If you are believing as an intercessor for some people or however, you cannot move. I don't care what they do. I don't care how dark it gets. You got to remain the beacon of light, the place of hope for them that they will come out. It doesn't matter, because in the moment and in a twinkling of an eye, God can allow some things to change. You got to, let me give y'all a secret about things. Let me help your understanding. I need you to press close. Put the